Hey guys, episode 27 here at Gene. Welcome to the Uncertified Pilot. So this evening it's time for my second flight since a long time of not flying. So again, as I mentioned in the previous episode, I really need to get into shape. So keep on the pace, keep on flying. Hoping to do that each and every day this week. Because in episode 26 I made a lot of mistakes, as I mentioned. I was a bit sloppy, a little bit hasty, so I think, hey Cessna, I did not pass that flight test. So yeah, I need to really dust off my flight skills there. As I mentioned, let me switch to my iPad. Too hasty, too careless. Also what I noticed, and I saw someone leave a comment on the on YouTube on episode 26 saying, well Tim, looking forward to the Cessna Skyhawk checklist, which was a good comment because although there is a virtual checklist of the Airfoil Labs Cessna Skyhawk, it is quite basic and I think on several in several steps not really that logical and not really that authentic. So yeah, that really inspired me to consider making a brand new checklist for the Cessna Skyhawk based on the study that I've done with A2A's Cessna Skylane. But I can use the, well, I guess for, well, let's say 90% or 95%, all those student items, checklist items that I used for the Skylane would also apply to the Skyhawk. So I think I really need a checklist again for the Skyhawk based on that Skylane that I will make and design in this week, I hope, if I find the time, because I really need to get my head straight and get back into the checklist item, get into the flow of doing all these checks. So I think I would really benefit a checklist. I think I've got the Skylane checklist over here. Let me just see whether I can easily grab one. Yeah, here it is. This one that some of you have been following me in the previous episode already noticed. I'd like to make one for the Cessna Skyhawk 2 for the Airfoil Labs one, but I'm just going to base it on the same level of detail. So I think that would be quite useful for my training again to get back into shape. So that is coming, and once I have it I will make it a free download through Twitter and my website uncertifiedpilot.com, so be sure to follow me and you get your hands on that new checklist as well. Still, the main message here, I was sloppy and hasty last time, so I'm really now trying to get into the mode of, well, being more serious and concentrated of making this this next flight to Palm Springs, and that's the next bit of what's coming. Oh, look at those birds in the background. Another great feature of X-Plane. Birds, awesome, and you can actually have bird strikes if you take off an X-Plane and fly into those. They look pretty nice actually from close. Well, anyway, distracted. Yeah, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna make for the very first time contact with ATC here on the live stream of the Uncertified Pilot. I'm pretty excited to do that. So Palm Springs is gonna be well, it's kind of a different, weird kind of airspace. I've mentioned it before in one of the earlier episodes. It looks like a Delta airspace, but it's a TRSA airport. Hey Stefan, thank you. Welcome on board. Yeah, I know. Been a long time. Thank you for jumping in. Trying to get back into shape here. Really excited to get my training progressing here. Anyway. Palm Springs is a Delta airspace airfield, but it's really a TRSA airfield. I'm going to show you that in just a moment on ForeFlight. But anyway, there's an air traffic controller there, and we're going to contact ATC when we want to land there. So it's going to be a first timer here on the Uncertified Pilot. So that's going to be cool. It's going to be a long flight, by the way. I guess a 2-hour flight. So feel free to join and fly along with me. Jump into the co-pilot seat because I guess I will need your advice and suggestions and tips to well, get my flying back on par. Okay, so no checklist. I'm going to make one for the Airfoil Skyhawk soon. Yeah, I did no pre-flight last time. I totally skipped the pre-flight, which is kind of like a bummer for training purposes, but also the Airfoil Labs Skyhawk here in X-Plane also features some great pre-flight checks, although not that detailed and realistic as A2A simulations. I'm still a huge fan of A2A simulations. I would love for them to design a Skyhawk and Skyline and all of their products for X-Plane, but as I mentioned, reading their forums, X-Plane, according to the developers of A2A, doesn't provide the technologies to implement that level of realism, unfortunately. But Airfoil Labs' Skyhawk comes close. So there are several surfaces here, click points that I will show you in just a moment that brings pictures, static pictures though, of the different mechanical parts of the Cessna that you can use to do your checks, but I don't think that they deteriorate or show any damage. I don't know for sure. And still in this current version, the engine behavior of the Airfoil Labs is very simplistic and therefore unrealistic. But soon, and I mean this week or next week, Airfoil Labs will upgrade the software here, the package, the Cessna Skyhawk software, to include realistic engine behavior, fouling of spark plugs. Well, I can show you the menu that they are going to implement this one, and it was already due April 2016, but they postponed that to May, which is the weeks that we're currently in. So I'm really looking forward to seeing this implemented, also seeing much more realistic mixture behavior and that kind of stuff, and then it becomes, well, it really gets close to A2A, so that's cool. So I didn't do a pre-flight last time. I'm going to do that this time. Also, no proper flight planning. Yeah, so I just picked some random, it seemed, VFR altitude to fly, which wasn't a good thing, because in the previous night flight, I really crossed some terrain, and especially because it was at night, terrain was a very, very important kind of thing to consider, and I was too, careless, I think. So proper flight planning. Serious, being present. I mean, it's I really take the, I love flight sim because I'm taking serious this flight training. So I'm really enjoying the fact I'm really enjoying this attitude, this serious attitude towards my flight training, rather than just casually, superficially doing a flight from A to B. So I think it's really necessary here to be more serious about my flight planning and pre-flight and all that stuff. Night flying, something that I noticed and mentioned last time. Let me go back to my iPad. What I didn't do, especially because it was a night flight, I didn't use any visual guidelines, reference points, which is something that I did wrong a couple of times in my previous episodes. The difference between picking a visual reference point in comparison to picking a visual guideline. And there's a very important difference between a reference point and a guideline. Guideline, as it already mentions, as it already tells you, guides you along your path. Rather, a point is just just a point, like a building or a particular mountain. A guideline could be a road or a rail track or a river or something like that. And especially in night flight, during that night flight, I should have used a highway that was light up to guide my way to my destination airport, which I didn't. I just, shot a heading and flew completely into the dark, literally and figuratively, because I had no clue whether I was heading into the right direction, specifically or precisely. I just had general heading as a direction, which wasn't a good thing. So visual guidelines, not only relying on my radio navigation, a VOR or a heading, but also making use of visual references like these highways or freeways. VFR altitudes I mentioned. Oh yeah, the airspeeds that I mentioned, I haven't. I don't know the VY speeds and all the airspeeds of the Skyhawk by heart. Honestly, I don't remember the sky lanes, so I need to know those. So VY for the Skyhawk is 72 knots, so that's best climb. VY. And VX is the best angle. of climb, and that's 62 knots. Something that I should remember and should also be part of the checklist that I'm gonna make soon. Then the next line here is the flaps. So below 110 knots, I can use my first notch of flaps, and the second degree and the third degree, 20 degree and 30 degree, I don't know by heart. I should only employ or use in the white arc. I think that's below 85 knots, I think. And lastly, Palm Springs, yeah, first radio contact with ATC, so I'm looking forward to that. And from that point on, I'm going to do the V1 rating. Ooh, V1 rating on PilotEdge at Palm Springs, because that was my very first airport that I visited, that I started at or was flying around when I just bought or just started with PilotEdge. So I think that's nice to do the V1 there. The V2 and V3 ratings are airport specific, John Wayne. So then we're gonna make our next hop from Palm Springs to John Wayne and then do our V2 and V3 rating. So it's really getting serious. I'm really trying to move up to those V ratings. I've been flying for such a long time. I think I'm ready to do that. Even though on the uncertifiedpilot.com website I still have some other flight tests to do, I really am looking forward to getting those V ratings done before I visit FlightSimCon in the early weeks of June. So that's kind of like the context here. Okay, done with the notes. Let's start with our flight planning. Here we go, for flight. So we are currently at Gene, which is over here. And I would like to go all the way down to Palm Springs over there. So let's make a very general flight plan here. Let me see. Gene, uncontrolled airport, just beneath these Bravo airspace chunks. Gene, click. Right, and then all the way down to Palm Springs. Click. There we are. Just to have a general idea, 130 nautical miles, 17 gallons or 18 gallons, 1 hour flight, 4 knots headwind, generally speaking. Good. So now we're going to make it more precise. So leaving Gene, I'm going to look at the airport information this time to see if there's a preferred departure routing or that kind of stuff. Let me see. Well, the first thing I'm noticing, there are two things that I'm noticing. First one, there's our highway 15, as you can see. And if I follow along that Highway 15, it goes a pretty long way down to Palm Springs. These are restricted areas, R2501 November. Let's see if that is active. I'm now pressing that restricted area to see if there's a pop-up. There isn't. Well, there is. Surface and above continuous. Yeah, so that's a restricted area. So we cannot cross that one. So this general direct routing is not feasible. So what if we just go to Daggett, this VOR? So we can make use of radio navigation, but we can also make use of this Highway 15 as a visual guideline to get us all the way down. I think that makes sense, at least for that second part of that first leg. I mean, I don't think it's that necessary to go this way. We could, but well, let's just go with a direct line. The second thing I'm noticing is there are a lot of gray lines, and those gray lines are military airways. As you know, on PilotEdge, military aircraft are simulated on those airways. Well, two things that are important, or well, two kinds or types of military airways are important: 3-digit ones and 4-digit ones. The 3-digit ones, like this one, shows that military aircraft are flying from 1500 feet AGL up to above. So those can be quite in the way, you could say, those military aircraft that are flying there, opposed to 4-digit military airways, such as hopefully, no, there's a 3-digit one. Well, here's a Here's a 4-digit one, where those military aircraft are flying below 1500 AGL. And so those are the most safe ones. You can easily overfly those. But the 3-digit ones are more dangerous because, well, they can fly at 1600 or 2000 or 3500 or whatever at a very, very high speed. So as you can see, our routing crosses that military airway. So in the real world, that I'm going to do and I'm going to do very soon, we would ask for flight following. So then ATC might also have a lookout for any military aircraft and, well, assign us an altitude that is much more safe. In this case, we're not in flight following yet, so yeah, that's something of a risk. So we need to be very clear, looking outside, be sure that we're not going to hit any military aircraft there. So that's a concern, but okay, we're going all the way down, following that Highway 15, but also inbound on Daggett, this VOR. Then at Daggett, yeah, we need to go this direction, and then we pass or fly next to that restricted area, which is good. Again, you can see a lot of military airways here. 4-digit ones, 4-digit ones, 4-digit ones, so we can easily overfly those. At least, let me see, because we've got some terrain here, 6,000 feet. Well, as we're going to a westerly direction, we should pick a westerly VFR altitude. So I'm thinking 8,500. Well, that makes us clear of the terrain. Right, so this is 5,000. Yeah. So if we take that point, for example here, 5,000, adding 1,500, yes, 6,500. So if we're going to see any military aircraft, they have a ceiling of 6,500. We're flying at 8,500, so we're still safe there. AGL, right? 1,500 feet AGL. Those are those military airways. Okay, so 8,500, we can put that in, by the way, here on 4-flight, and 4-flight will calculate our headwind. 7 knots headwind. Okay. Okay, now can we fly an outbound airway perhaps? Because from Daggett we can then do an outbound one. Well, we could, I guess. There's an outbound here, 172 degree. Get away from that. So yeah. Well, that's an airway, but it goes to that towers kind of mountain top, which is at 6,000, but we're flying at 8,500, so that should be fine. We can go to Soggy and then fly an outbound radial from. Is there another? Or that's an inbound, I guess. Yeah, to Palm Springs. Yeah, that makes sense. So, to Palm Springs VOR. Boom. So that's a 329er. Yeah, inverse. Okay. So, something like this. Makes sense, right? Flying around that restricted area stuff. We're flying high enough for terrain. We are flying above those military airways, except for that first one that we need to look out for and remember to look out for once we're going to cross that. Although here you can see we are kind of like busting this Silver North MOA. Let me see. From 200 AGL to 9,000 MSL. Intermittent by NOTAM. Yeah, so that's something that no, we cannot do this. This is too close. So what we could do is say, well, we're gonna fly like that direction, and we're gonna pick up on that highway. So just a GPS reference here. Just to, let's just say something like that. We're just gonna fly inbound to Daggett. But as soon as we pass this mountaintop, Clark Mountain, then we're gonna fly to the south of Highway 15. Because if we stay at the south, we are sure that we're not gonna bust that Silver North MOA. And then we can just see the DME increase until we get to Daggett, and then we're gonna fly its outbound radial to Soggy. Well, it's not really an outbound radial. You can see this airway is not really going to Soggy. Well, anything, generally that's the right direction. And then we're going to pick up this Palm Springs. We can also go direct to Palm Springs, by the way, from Daggett. I don't know why we should make this this corner, I guess, because there's no terrain here. Now, why are we going to soggy? It's not really that necessary. Let me remove soggy. Soggy, delete. Boom. Loving ForeFlight here. Yeah. So we're not flying any airway, which isn't a concern, really. We've got a military airway here with this a 4-digit one, I think. Is it? No, it's a 3-digit one. Yeah, but there are 3 kinds of airways there. 212, 213, 217. Yeah, so that is a risk then. If we're going to fly from Daggett to Palm Springs, we are flying along that that military airway, and so we should. There's a chance that we fly into that military stuff. Okay, so yeah, I think that's unsafe, especially when we are flying not without flight following. So still soggy. Still soggy then. That's the reason why we're going that direction. And then we're going to go inbound to Palm Springs. I think that makes sense. As you can see, there's a lot to consider here in flight planning, and last time I was too hasty and too superficially going at it here. So I think it's really nice to have a good look at it. And this is just the navigational dimension of it. We need to look at weather soon, but also I would like to have a close look at the airport. So we're currently at Gene details. No, taxi diagram is not very that useful. I'm interested in the remarks and comments. Collider parking, power aircraft use traffic pattern west of runway, make entry from the west. Aerobatic, blah blah blah. Skydiving, fuel drop, skydiving. Yeah, there's a lot of skydiving. Yeah, glider you can see here. The depictions. Okay. Not really concerned to us. We're just going to do a straight out departure, I guess, from runway 20 right. The right one is the longest, and we're also at the east side now, on the east side of the airport. So 20 right, departure, straight out departure, and we head out to 8,500 feet. So we've got some terrain ahead of us at 5,000. So yeah. Otherwise, we just make a 360, something like that, to circle up to our cruising altitude and then make that leap of faith. Okay, though, and then our arrival, airport destination, airport Palm Springs. Yeah. So as I mentioned, as you can see, it's a lot of airspace here, but it's not that complex really. As you can see, around Palm Springs, there's a circle, dashed circle, blue circle, which indicates that it is a Delta airport. The orange or magenta kind of dashed lines show that there's echo airspace there, which is not at all relevant for us, not that useful. We can just ignore that. And you can see here this rectangular kind of weird shape. There's a magenta fuzzy line there, also echo airspace. Only concerns in our case to remain more clear of the well, not even in that case. No, you can just ignore it. Just ignore echo airspace there, and you can see a gray darker line there, and that reveals that it is a TRSA airspace, which is kind of like saying that it is a Charlie airspace, but it's not mandatory. There is Charlie airspace like service there if you like to use it, so you can contact approach, but it's not mandatory, so you can just treat Palm Springs as a Delta airspace. That's what this is all about. So it looks confusing, but actually you can just use it as a Delta airspace. So a regular Delta arrival. So we're just going to contact, not approach, but just tower and say, hey tower, here we are, we're coming up from the north, we're going to land inbound. And let's have a look at Palm Springs itself. I just want to have the, more details. Have a look. So we've got a taxi diagram, finally. Here's Palm Springs. You've got a long runway. We also got a smaller one, I guess for the smaller aircraft. Now I really like to park here at the east side, here at the, can I draw? Yeah, so here. So I would like to just land on 31 right. And well, exit at Foxtrot or Delta, depends on our how much runway we need to use there, and then taxi all the way down to well to this parking area. So as we're going to check into Palm Springs Tower, I'm already mentioning, hey, like to park at the east ramp, because otherwise I think they just gonna assign us to the 3-1 left or the 1-3 right one, because a lot of GA can also park there, but I'm not keen on doing that. So I'm just mentioning to the controller, hey, we'd like to go to the east ramp, and I'm hoping that they then say, oh well, enter the right downwind 3-1 right. It is a right downwind, I know by heart, but let's just have a look. Go away, yeah, again, Palm Springs details, down, I guess it's also mentioned here. Where is it mentioned? Pattern altitude is at 1400 feet. And if I take runway 31, no, not left, but right, that's a smaller runway. Yeah, there's a right traffic there. Yeah, it's right traffic. And the other one, 31, 31 right, 31 left is also right. Everything is right. Okay, and we've got some frequencies there. We're gonna set that all up soon. Okay, now this was proper planning. It takes some time, but it's good to have an idea. Even more so, we forgot about something. I should also look at the remarks again. Let's see. A lot of information here and a lot of stuff that isn't really that much of a concern. Do not mistake, yeah, blah, 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 blah. Runway 13 right designated calm wind runway. Okay, so if there is winds calm, we can expect 13. Well, doesn't matter to me. We'll know as soon as we arrive there and talk to the controller. All stuff here. Large aircraft. Oh, 1,000 feet AGL small aircraft. Yeah, AGL. But that means, if you look at the general information there, that means taking into consider the airport elevation, it's going to be 1400 MSL, which is the reading that we get from our altitude altimeter. Customs, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so not really something, anything that we need to take into account there. Okay, so navigation-wise, we've got our flight plan here. So let's put that into PilotEdge. And here on X-Plane, I've noticed that there is actually, it's built in. PilotEdge file flight plan. How nice is this? So, we are a... Oh, cool, this looks different. So, Skyhawk 172 slant alpha, that's correct. Origin, 0 Lima 7, that's Gene. Looking at my flight here. Destination, KPSP. Routes, doesn't really matter here. No one's going to look at this file flight plan, by the way, but I just like to file a flight plan because it's cool. 8,000. Although the flight plan is displayed on as a label on the PilotEdge radar or map on the site, which is kind of fun. Well, 100 doesn't really matter. Alternates. Well, we've got a lot of alternates. Let's take Daggett. Kilo, Delta, Alpha, Golf. Remarks. We don't have any usual remarks here by PilotEdge pilots, as I read on the forums. The PilotEdge forums is something like, well, I'm using real world, I'm not using real world weather, but I'm using IMC, or so then the controllers know what you're up to. En route hours, minutes, well, we can just input that, right? 1 hour, 24 minutes, I guess. Fuel hours. I don't know by heart what the metrics are. I knew it of the Skylane, but I don't know how gallons translate to hours. I don't know if the Airfoil Labs shows that. I mean, 23 gallons, yeah, 46 gallons, but it doesn't show any time duration. Yeah, I'm gonna input that. I'm gonna put that on the checklist as well, so we can have an easy calculation here. So, well, 3 hours, I guess, would be fine. File VFR, we're right. This is all correct. 8,500. Daggett. Okay. I'm alive as a production. Yeah, I am. Oh man, I was so busy with work, and that's the reason why. Filed our flight plan. Okay. So that is navigation wise. Then comes the weather. A lot of stuff goes into this pre-flight, and I know this is still a bit boring because you're looking at a static screen, but I really like this more intellectual dimension to Flight Simulator, especially because we've got real world airports and weather, and also just like the whole study of it. So okay, let's move on. Imagery. Got my favorites set up here. Only interested at the west coast, obviously. Oh, nice. Rain. Let me see, what's the time here? So at the bottom, can you see that, guys? No, you cannot. It's currently 1900 Zulu. And this is valid. I have no idea. It's just a general kind of... Okay, so we've got rain there. As you can see, there's the lake, that little blue spot there, just to the right of that orange circle. I guess it's the lake of Palm Springs. So in terms of Las Vegas at Gene, we don't have any rain there, but we're going to have a more closer look. This is a very general kind of weather chart. Let me see. Rain or precipitation forecast. Well, it doesn't really correspond to our previous slide, but anyway, none. Moving up, this is the most interesting one. I forgot about how this one is called. Significant weather? I don't know how this chart, what the term is officially, but doesn't really matter. It's a really handy one. Left one is at 06 Zulu, as you can see, and the right one is at 18 Zulu, so that's much more current. So this was this morning or this night. Marginal VFR on the coast there around Palm Springs, but San Diego, that stuff, and it's still there at 18 Zulu and has spread a little bit more to the east, it seems. So chances are that we could expect some marginal VFR. That's the blue cloudy like depiction there. Marginal VFR on Palm Springs when we arrive there, so we keep that in mind. Freezing level above mean sea level. Some freezing levels there. That's the turquoise kind of dashed line there. Don't know what that really means. Freezing level above mean sea level. Yeah, that's usually the case, but how much above? At the ground, or? I don't know what that means. We're going to look at freezing levels soon, or icing levels they are. Okay, air mats, clouds, and BR is fog, so again corresponds to marginal VFR. Clouds, and okay, well, we can already see some clouds here in Gene. I don't know if that's related to that marginal stuff, but we've got some clouds here. Moving on. Again air mat, but this is at 14 Zulu. The previous one was at, oh no, this was in the right top corner, 1500 Zulu. So that's a few hours ago, and this one is at 1800. Yeah, so this is a more recent one. So here you can see a clouds and fog one, but here at 1800 you can see that that one has disappeared. So marginal VFR weather seems to be dissipating. Good. No convective SIGMET, so no thunderstorms or that stuff. Ceilings, valid until 1800 Zulu. So that's an hour ago again. So you can see ceilings are at, here, looking to the left. Let me see what the colors mean. Around 6,000 feet up to 12,000 feet. Okay, so as you probably recall, we picked our cruising altitude at 8,500 feet. And looking at this weather chart, that might be a problem, because as a VFR pilot we cannot fly through the clouds. We can fly 500 feet below the clouds, or lower, or 1,000 feet above. We can even fly overcast, really. I don't think... If you're a student pilot or sports pilot or something like that, a recreational pilot, I don't know what it is called, you should always have visual reference point with the ground, so you cannot fly above overcast. But as a private pilot, and we just pretend that we are, we can fly over overcast, but it's a really dangerous kind of thing, because you don't know whether the overcast stops at your destination airport, and you cannot fly through it. So you need to be very, very sure that you can cross that overcast area. So... This might be a problem, guys, but it depends on what kind of clouds it is. Is it a ceiling of a few clouds, or scattered, or yeah, clouds? That seems to be the issue here, weather-wise. Satellites, so as you can see there, you can see a darker spot. That's the, I guess that's the Palm Springs. I don't know for sure. Is it much more farther away? I think I'm mistaking the Palm Springs lake. It seems to be too far from the coast. Should be some other lake, I guess. Yeah, but you can see that the more of the clouds are at sea. The next slide is more helpful. Yeah, and then you can really see how thick the clouds are. So the more bluish, the more thicker they are. And as you can see, not a lot of thick clouds there, but you can see there's some. Okay. Then visibility-wise, this is at 1800 Zulu, no visibility stuff. So that's that fog or that BR that is evaporated. So that corresponds. Yeah. So it seems that the marginal VFR stuff is mainly due or concerned with clouds. That's the whole idea, I guess. Then wind speeds at 3000. Oh yeah, what are the wind? How do those called? Wind barbs or wind feathers? I don't know how to read them. I knew, but I forgot. I can see that the higher wind speeds are at sea, obviously, but I don't know what the direction is. Can go either way. Should look that one up. 3000, well, 6000, 9000. Now this is the closest to our cruising altitude. You can see there are quite some winds there, but we already looked at ForeFlight, and it said that we had a margin, well, kind of like a marginal headwind of 7 knots, which wasn't a big thing. But there are some winds at 9000, obviously. So, well, I need to study this more to have a more better idea of what is going on here. And that's it. No, it's not that. Turbulence. Oh yeah, obviously turbulence, and we also got freezing. Turbulence. Do we have a lot of turbulence? No. At 1000? No, this was at from 1000 feet to flight level 500. Okay. And this was icing. No icing SIGMATs, and here you can see freezing levels. And around our area, we've got the orange stuff there, and that corresponds to 11,000 feet or something like that. Well, we're at 8,500, but we're not going to fly into freezing levels, so no risk of running into icing conditions, I guess. Yeah, and then radar, which I think I'm going to remove that one from my favorites. And that completes our weather briefing. So what have we learned? Well, our routing still is intact, I guess, but we might bump into marginal VFR weather. Well, as you can see here, you can see a lot of VMC depictions here, those green dots covered on all the airports here on the coast. You can see some marginal here in San Diego, or no, it's even south of San Diego. A KSDM, I don't know what the airport is called. There's only marginal there, and obviously here at Palm Springs, it's covered here beneath the routing, but it's also just VMC. Let me have a look what the METAR is. METAR 310 at 12 gusting to 19 knots. Okay, we've got a wind there, so yeah, looking forward to that. But if we got runway 31, which might be an obvious one, this is not a wind calm condition, so chances are we're going to get a landing at the 31 right. We got a perfect headwind, so it's not going to be a crosswind component there, which is good. It is a bit gusty, but it's fine. 10 statute miles of visibility and clear skies, so no clouds there. So I guess that all the ceilings that we saw, well, are already gone, I guess, or so much high up that they are not a concern to us. Let me see here, Daggett, just to make sure. 10 statute miles clear, again gusty winds to 24 knots, but this is at ground. And here at Vegas, or some southern here, some more south airports like Henderson, METAR, variable 0.6 knots, so that's a wind calm condition. Okay, so we're going to head into much more stronger winds. Okay, done. That's proper flight planning, guys, and it takes some time, but I really like this stuff. Well, in terms of frequencies, we have a lot of time there to tune in to the frequency of Palm Springs. So we're going to do that while we are flying. Okay, we've got a flight plan filed. Here we are at Henderson. Let's move that iPad away. We've got some clouds there. That direction we need to go to, and yeah, let's get out of here. I think. Okay, sip of water. Okay, so something I really love here, and explains that we can walk around physically, and not just going through several viewpoints. So let's just pretend that we are real pilots. So the first thing that we're going to do is put in our briefcase. I love this role playing. Okay, so weight and fuel, baggage. That's 10 pounds. Yeah, those are the briefcases. I really like how they pop in. Yeah, and I'm not used to pounds, I think. Can we just go to kilos? Yeah, we can. 75, yeah, we have no passengers there. And you can see here the center of gravity is just fine, I think. Yeah. Obviously with one person that's not a problem at all. So that's closed. Okay, so let's first remove the pitot tube cover. That block, and we're also going to remove the other one from the other side. I could do that while I do the walk around, but oh, whatever. Move that one away. Cool. Photoshop my own Papa Hotel Tango India mic color scheme here on the Airfoil Labs one. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do, I don't know if I can peek in here, look here, while standing outside. Well, I can, doesn't really matter. First thing I'm going to do is put on the batteries. No, that's the alternator. Yeah, batteries on. Oh, I didn't check a cold and dark check. I see beacons are on, and that's it. Because I would like to turn on my landing lights, my taxi lights, strobe lights, nav lights, beacon is on, and my pitot tube. Boom. So those are now on. Now I can walk around. Well, as I noticed, I already mentioned, there is no really proper checks here. So opposed to A2A, I can just click. Now I cannot do anything here and check whether it's warm or not. I can just put the sleeve on. So just pretend that we just felt the pitot tube and that it's getting warm. Let me check the lights. Well, you can see that the light is here behind this particular texture. At night it looks pretty, but you can see here that the actual lighting is behind this texture, which is, well, prevents us from looking in and see whether the lights are working. What you can see they are. The beacon light is working. Also looking at the strobe lights and the position lights. Strobe lights are working just fine. I guess there's also a position light here at the tail, or only at the skyline. Here at the top, and it is on, I guess. La 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 la. Looking at this tail, position light is on, strobe light on. So let's head back into the cockpit and turn all that. Yeah, now we should do another thing. We should put down the flaps. There you go. Okay, and now we can turn off the pitot tube, pitot heats, lights, except for the beacon, and the batteries are now off. Okay, so now we can start with our walk around. So first one is the baggage door, just following the same kind of walk around as with A2A, or just the real kind of aircraft walk around, real world walk around. That one we already checked, the baggage door. We've got the aesthetic. So you can see here there are these check boxes here at Airfoil Labs, but they are not doing anything. I think this is just a pretty graphic that you can use just to check off whether you did this. I don't think if this really interacts with the airplane itself, so I'm just going to ignore these. So checking the static air, Going to the tail. We should now feel all the leading edges here and see if everything works. You can see the connecting rods here. You can really press this. As you can see, a lot of pictures here, kind of similar to A2A, but they are not dynamic, I think. So it's not like when your elevator here is broken that you can see that the pictures have actually changed. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that implementation by Airfoil Labs. Still, if you've done those pre-flights walkarounds a couple of times, they become pretty boring and obvious, and then you know, it's part of a simulator is that you can skip the boring parts. So I think it's good for me at this stage to do this pre-flight, but I'm not really sure whether I'm going to do this each and every time as part of my training. So okay, but we should look whether these are all correct. Then the rudder surface there, well, again you can see a lot of stuff going on. Just pretend that is okay, and we can look here and there, see if all the bolts are in. There's the trim tab. Is that a separate surface that I can click? No. Okay, anything else here? Well, here's the navigation antennas. We should see if those are not damaged in any way. Moving along, let's see, ELT antenna looks good. Leading edges, see if there's no dents or other stuff going on. Going further. Then the trev. Here's there's a little wiggle there of the flaps. We can see the connecting rods. So we can just move a little bit here to this side and inspect them. Well, we can see they are looking just fine. I guess these work too. Yeah, so we're going to do that soon. Okay, then the ailerons. Can I move them too? I guess so. No, I cannot. Yeah, I can. Boom. Look good. I guess I should also, at the same time, look at the yoke and see if the yoke is turning. Yeah, working and in the right direction, so that's good. All intact, looks good. Leading edge looks good. Tie down is removed. There's a tie down actually with nice sounds. Looks cool. Move those. Okay, then the wheels. Well, I know we kind of duck here to have a closer look, but you can see there red on red, I think. Yeah, so there's red on the wheel and red here on this, I don't know what the English word for it is, but this metal plate. And you can see there's a little bit of friction there, but not a lot. So it seems that the wheel or the rubber stuff is in the right place. That's good. Then we've got the filter, I guess. Air vents, yeah, no obstruction. No obstruction. Let's sip. Yeah, there are a lot of points here, so I can just, I guess, click one. You can see here. I mean, I think that A2A simulations has a better picture here. I think this is a little bit. And again, I don't know if it also simulates water or other stuff, contamination here in the fuel. I don't think so. So this is just, well, a nice animation, but it's not really helpful in any way, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, we check the fuel. Then there is there a static port here? No, there is not one here on this side, I guess. Or am I missing out on it? I don't know what this is. It opens and it closes, and it seems like something like a cowl flap or something like that. But there isn't a cowl flap lever in the cockpit, I think. So anyone who knows what this is, let me know. Then we can go up and look up at the wing. Wow, that's cool. I think that is cool. And look here at the fuel. How much gallons did we need? 19, right? Let me see. 20. 8 knots headwind. Yeah. So, well, that's plenty. This is just fine. So we've got 23 gallons on one wing and also 23 on the other, or something like that. So that's okay. Yeah. We've got here the comm antennas look good. This is the outside air temperature. It looks good. The windshield here looks good. Looks all well. Now there is some problem which I'm gonna fix here with the click spots when I return from the wing. I think. I cannot move. And there's a way to do it. You have to free yourself, and I found a trick, and here it is. But well, should be fixed in the next upgrade. It's still very. There are minor bugs, but they should be fixed. Okay, then the oil is on this side of the airplane. Some traffic here. 5 to 6 quarts. Now I think, but I don't know for the Skyhawk, that this should be between 6 and 9. So I don't know for sure, but I'm just going to increase that to 7. 7. Close that one in. Okay. The strut looks good. The exhaust pipe looks good. You can also tow the Skyhawk. And you can do all of checks, but I don't like to do it. The air filter and the intakes. Let me see. Does that work? No, it seems to be. Ah, there it is. Yeah. So now I can just. Oh, it's on park and brake, so I cannot tow it. But it's kind of like the same as with A2A. So it's nice. Okay, no dents in the propeller blades, no bird's nest in here, air filter, yep, checked. Then here there's another static port, yeah, so there's one here and there's one on the other side. Okay, this is just the generator, so we don't need that one. We can look here at the wheels. Can we see 2? Yeah, we can see 2. There's one here and there's one there, so seems to be just right. We can go up here to have a look at the other wing. Yep, enough gallons. Everything looks fine here. Now let me see if I can free myself from this view. Yeah, I can. Okay, then this leading edge fence look good. Pedo tube. Well, let's just. I don't think I can really do a check, right? I can only put on the sleeve. Yeah. Okay, that's a bummer. Oh, the fuel vent. I forgot about that on the other wing. Yeah, so that's clear. This is a stall warning. Yeah, there's a way to test that one. Let's pretend that we did. Lights we already checked, and we can go all the way around. Do a check here. Look at the yoke. Yeah, I can see it moving in the right direction, so that is working. Free move. Now the flaps, wiggle, looks good, connected, and finally let's do a sip there, I guess, and we already did that and it looks good. That completes our pre-flight check. Again, takes time, I know. We've been streaming now for an hour and we haven't even get to starting the aircraft yet, but it's realistic. I mean, this takes time, and also part of my previous episodes, and I think this is really nice. I don't know in the future episodes if I'm going to do this pre-flight each and every time. It does provide context and it's real, but yeah, it's a simulator, and I think this is the great advantage of using a simulator, that you can just say, well, that's the boring part, I'm just going to skip that. Alright, so completed the walk around, so we can go in. And there we are. We can not already close the door, because also in the real world you need to fasten your seat belts first. It's impossible to fasten them if the door is already closed. Boom, let's open a window, and there we are. Center TrackIR and put TrackIR on. Does that work? Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, there we are. Okay. Although to be honest, I'm a little bit thirsty, so I'm going to get myself another glass of water. And for you guys who are new to the Uncertified Pilot, welcome on board. 26 viewers, nice. Hopefully you're also serious flight simmers who like to use Flight Simulator to develop some real flight skills here. And we can get a long way, actually, irrespective of whether whatever flight simulator you're using, FSX or Prepared or X-Plane. Okay, so here we are. Oh yeah, this is a nasty trick. I don't know what X-Plane is doing, but somehow my yoke isn't really calibrated. I'm gonna fix that before we're gonna fly, so just take a sec. Joystick. Yeah, I don't know what's happening there. Calibrate joystick. Boom, boom, boom. Rudder. Toe brake. Mixture full in out. Prop full in out. It's a mixture. Trim. Let's just give it a spin. And then I've checked everything, and then use this position as center, I guess. Boom. Yeah, thank you. Don't know why that is happening. I've done this a couple of times. If any one of you has a tip on that, or a trick of how I can... it's a Saitek yoke that I'm using, but somehow it doesn't remember my calibration each and every time. So I don't know. Alrighty. Let's center again. So, we did our interior inspection, not just yet, we did our walk around. Yeah, I'm now getting curious to see whether we should have actually done the cabin. Yeah, looking at the Skylane checklist here by A2A. So we should have first checked whether the... Yeah, I immediately started with the walk around and checked the lights and the flaps. While what I should actually have done is first get into the cockpit, see if we are completely cold and dark. If you remember, when I turned on the batteries, when I started this episode, the avionics were already on and really bumped on. So I should have checked whether all the buttons and switches were at their default position, which is the first part of the checklist, which also applies to the Skyhawk. Then I should have done an interior inspection first. So then turn on the batteries, the avionics, see if all the stuff is working. Then do the exterior walk around. So yeah, I'm now doing some other checks that I should have done earlier. So cold and dark. Let me see. Park and brakes are set. The control wheel lock was already removed. Trim is set. Fuel tanks are set. Doors closed, window is closed, ELT is okay. We've got our heater, which shouldn't be on. Air can be open, which is good. Flaps are down, which is okay. Off. Lights are all off. Transponder should be set to off. Off. And this is all set. This is 2.0 right, which is fine, I guess. And lights, and this is all off too. So that is good. Okay, we got a cold and dark check. So now we can turn on the batteries. Yeah, that's the battery. Sorry. Now we can see the right reading there in gallons, which is good. Then we can do the avionics, I guess. Yeah, we can hear it. The avionics fan we can hear. The autopilot here takes some time. We can do a test on the transponder. Works. We're going to reset that soon, because we need to turn off our avionics before we do our engine start, because otherwise the avionics or the electrical system can get a over charge. And that is simulated here in the Airfoil Labs Cessna. The whole electrical system works. What also works, which I found pretty cool, I mean, X-Plane's failure system is much more sophisticated, I believe, than FSX's or in Prepared. There are a lot of failures. I can just show you, just for fun's sakes. Who cares? Equipment failures. There are a lot of things that can go wrong. Well, in FSX I know there are also a lot of stuff, but I think that here in X-Plane is much more advanced. You can have smoke in the cockpit and, well, a lot of stuff that can go wrong. And part of that, here the Airfoil Labs Skyhawk, also the circuit breakers actually work. So for example, the transponder, if I now pull on this circuit breaker, boop, you can see it goes out. So this is really connected, so that's cool. So if we've got a failure, you can see that the circuit breakers pop out, which I think is cool. This is working. We can test the annunciator panel test. All the lights are working, which is good. We've got no old pressure and low vacuum. That's also correct. We've got fuel, and that's about it. So then we can move our transponder off, avionics off, and our batteries off. And now we should have done our walk around. Well, we already did that. So we come back into the cockpit, turn on the batteries again, and not turn on the avionics, but first do our engine start. So park and brakes is set, fuel tanks are set to both. Let's prime our engine, which is not really simulated here in the Airfoil Labs version here of the Skyhawk yet. I hope, hopefully in the next week or so, they're going to release an upgrade. So currently we can just do a very plain, basic, unrealistic engine start, but let's pretend we do a realistic one. So throttle to 1/4 inch, open. There goes the fuel pump. Make sure full in. 1, 2, 3. We can see some fuel flow there. Fuel pump off. Now here, what we should do now is just do an engine start, and then when the engine catches on, pull forward on the mixture. Well, currently that isn't really simulated here in this version of the aircraft. So we should rather do is a full mixture in, a little bit more throttle, and then it just starts nicely. Park and brakes is set. No one around. Clear prop. There it goes. Magneto back to both. 1000 RPM. Engine oil pressure is already in the green. Volts message because we haven't turned on the alternator. Oh, there it goes. Should we remove? Yeah, that's goes away. Virtual headset on. A lot more quiet, and now we can turn on the avionics. Let's turn on the transponder to on and VFR. And we should lean for ground. A little bit there. You can see the EGT goes nicely high up, a little bit too nice, a little too high up, I guess. So again, not really realistic engine behavior. Doesn't really matter. And we can turn up or put up the flaps again. There we are. And I also forgot to do, guys, I will make a Airfoil Labs Skyhawk checklist for us, a student checklist, for all you guys to download for free. I will mention that next time. I should have done a flight control test too, to see. I already did that as part of the walk around, but I guess I would also need to use the Yoke here to see if those are working. Also, just before takeoff, elevators and the rudder. Yeah, it's working. Okie-do. That's the autopilot, which we're not going to use. Okay, so engine is on. Unrealistically, it is already warm. Should have taken a lot more time. We've got a slight charge. We've got some fuel flow going on. Looks all fine and well. So now, I don't need a marker sound here. Thank you for following North CPT3. Welcome aboard. We can now set up the radios and stuff. I don't need TrackIR. Why am I using TrackIR at this stage? Okay, back to our flight. So this is going to be our flight all the way down to Palm Springs. It's going to take some time, guys. Here already it's 9:30, so I guess I'm going to sleep in late. But I like it. Thank you for following. Azer Premium. Thank you, guys. Follow. If you follow, you get an instant notification when I'm flying. I'm hoping to fly each and every week. Serious use of Flight Simulator. And I'm really looking forward one day to get into a real airplane, doing my first flight lesson and impress the certified flight instructor. Like, oh my gosh, have you never flown for real? No, I never flown for real. Got thousands of hours in Flight Simulator, home flight simulator, but yeah. So this is going to be our flight. Frequencies. First off, we need a communication radio frequency to leave Gene. Uncontrolled airports 122.9, as you can see there. Thank you for following, guys. Really appreciate it. Saitek panel here. 122.9. It's already set to 122.9. It is. Okay, that's cool. Cool. Do we have a AWAS or ASOS or ADIS? No, but we have one nearby. Henderson. Thanks, guys. B3D Flyer. Henderson Executive. ADIS 120.775. I'm gonna come to 120.775. Really need to get used to the ADIS voice of X-Planes. Goes a little bit faster. Okay. Let's use the template here of 4 flights. Just to get into practice again. ADIS. Boom. Ride along with me if you like. ADIS of Henderson. Did we set it? No, we didn't set it. 120, what was it? Oh my gosh. 120.775. Yeah, it's set on the standby, and now it's on the active of COM2. So yeah, we're ready to go. Here's my notes and COM2.
Henderson Executive Information Kilo. 1800 Zulu weather.
Don't care.
Sky conditions indefinite. Scattered. 3600 overcast. Visibility 10. Temperature 13. Dew point 6. Wind 00 at 10. Gust 15. Altimeter 2993. Arriving and departing runways 17 right, 17 left. Advise on initial contact you have Kilo.
Again. Too fast for me. Sorry. Little lady, could you repeat your last transmission, please? It also has a different order of things.
Henderson Executive Information Kilo.
Kilo.
1800 Zulu
Don't
weather.
care.
Sky conditions indefinite. Scattered. 3600 overcast. Visibility 10. Temperature 13. Dew point 6. Wind 00 at 10. Gust 15.
That's so weird.
2993. Arriving and departing runways 17 right.
Last time, guys.
17
Sorry.
left. Advise on initial contact you have Kilo.
And there's another trick to get the altimeter setting, by the way. Just input the airport elevation. So we know here from the maps what the airport elevation is, and that should give us the right altimeter setting. Last time, I should get used to the flow
Henderson
here.
Executive Information
Kilo.
1800 Zulu weather.
Yeah.
Sky conditions indefinite. Scattered. 3600 overcast. Visibility 10. Temperature 13. Dew point 6. Wind 00 at 10. Gust 15. Altimeter 2993. Arriving and departing runways 17 right, 17 left.
I don't care.
Advise on initial contact you have Kilo.
119.3. Let's verify that. Well, we don't know for sure, by the way, because that's Henderson's, so that's 2492. And it kind of like corresponds, but I guess the gene is a little bit lower than that, so we cannot do a really good verification here, but still. Set our altimeter, Kilo, we don't need, it's not tower airport, so we don't need that information at all, but just the altimeter setting. And the winds, they were gusty. That's at Henderson. Variable at 0.6. Well, the ATC of X-Plane shows something else. Got some gusty winds. But what I also like here at X-Plane is realistic windsocks that are really nicely animated. And as you can see, it looks good. We've got some proper wind there, a little bit gusty. Although one thing I'm noticing, and I don't know if I'm wrong, but it seems like the wind now, it seems like we've got a headwind right now. But in the last flight, it seemed like the wind was actually exactly opposite to that, so that the wind was actually coming from behind, and that the windsocks were not displaying the right, well, wind direction. I don't know for sure whether that is a bug or whether the flight model of my Skyhawk here is wrong, because my Skyhawk was pointing to the entirely, well, 180, no, the opposite direction that I was expecting it to. So it seemed to me that we were pushing the, that we were being pushed to the other direction that the windsock was showing. So that's weird. Have a look now at the departure to see if that's still the case, but I'm not trusting those windsocks, but they look great. Okay. Let me see. So we've got our ATC information, we've got our altimeter setting, we're gonna depart 20 right. I guess that's, at least that's a direction that is much more obvious to our routing, but is it also obvious to the wind? So that means looking at the heading indicator, that's from left to right, so that direction. I guess that's about it. We've got a crosswind here, so it doesn't really matter that much. So 20 right, we got our heading box set, that's good. Then we need a Daggett. Boom, 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 boom. Long way. Daggett 113.2. 113.2, and I'm going to set it at the nav2 because the DME is connected to the nav2 and not the nav1, and I don't think there's a button that I can use to switch it, I guess. What is that? What does that button do? Or is that, does that mean nav1 and this is nav2? Well, let's check. Nav1. What did I say? 113.2. 113.2. 113.2, that is set, and we don't got a reading. I can input it also on the nav2. Let's go crazy. Just to make sure. 113.2. And also no reading. Okay. Yeah. Then we've got that set. No other frequencies there. Well, we are expecting inbound. No, the OBS I will set while we're flying. So we're going to take off that direction straight out, follow the 15. The first direction that we're going to fly is from 0 Lima 7. It's going to be 218 heading. 218 heading. Yeah, kind of like runway heading. Yeah, north side of that mountain peak, Mount Clark. Okay. Yeah, we're set. We are completely set, guys. Sorry for taking this long, but yeah, I need to get into flying again, so that's what happens. Now I'm going to use 4 flights. Let's center again. Here we are. Okay. 20 right. It's over that side, so that's a pretty easy taxi, I think. And that's it. Flight lights are on. Everything is set. Okay, let's go. Parking brakes. Release. So we're going to depart 8,500 feet. Yeah, what I should have done, also forgot about that, is my taxi checklist. So should have checked my toe brakes. Should have looked at the turn indicator to see if that is working, and it is. My artificial horizon is stable, and my heading indicator is moving, which is good. Should also check whether the compass corresponds with my heading indicator, and that's correct. And I should now use crosswind correction. Wind is coming from the right, so I should steer to the right with my yoke. This is the sloppiness that I was referring to at the beginning of the episode. So, as we have no airplanes behind, I'm just going to put my nose here straight up into the wind and do our run up. Mixture full in. Is our engine warm to do a run up? Yeah, it is. Let's do that. Yeah, toe brakes. Okay, let's go. 1800. There we go. Everything looks in the green still, stable. No annunciator messages. Left magneto looks good, back to both. Right one looks good. We can do a landing light on to see the charge there. Well, not really there. Thank you for following, Iron Rain. And then we go back to full idle, just to see if the engine doesn't quit on us. If the throttle stop is working. No annunciator messages still. We've got oil pressure even at idle. Everything seems stable. And that looks all good. So back to 1000. It's the nice RPM there. Okay, so that means that we are ready for takeoff. Window closed. Doors closed. Got my seat belts on. Landing lights on. Strobe lights on. Transponder setting to altitude. Flaps we don't need. Trim is a little bit set to, well, let's just set it to takeoff. Mixture is full in. Altimeter is set. What's our briefing? We're gonna fly up. We've got a wind coming from the left. At least that's what I'm expecting, looking at the windsock here in front of us. We're gonna fly straight out, heading 20 something. 218, so 220, which is kind of like runway heading, flying right of that peak and go up to 8,500. And what's important, we're going to cross that military airway here, VR222, as you can see. So we need to look very carefully if there's no military aircraft that is passing by, because we are on PilotEdge right now, as always. We might fly into other aircraft. We are ready to go. 1 to 2.9. Yeah, we are ready to set. Okay. Gene traffic, Skyhawk Papa Hotel Tango and iMac is departing runway 20 right for a straight out departure to 8,500 Gene. Let's go. Still making sure there is no drone traffic here. No. More safe is to actually do a 360 here on the taxiway, because there might be a drone airplane here on base that we cannot see right now. Here we go. Let's go fly. Center. Full power. Right rudder. Engine looks good. Everything in the green. Airspeed's alive. 40. Should do a little bit of crosswind there. 60. Rotates. There we go. Uh-oh, birds. Birds. No bird strike, guys. Whoa. That was close. Okay, VY is 72. You can see it's a little bit gusty. So, making sure we've got enough speed there. Let's get a climb going. Engine looks good still. Oh, a little bit too much nose up, so I'm trimming already a bit. You see kind of like a ice lake in front of us. Well, I can show you it's not ice. I guess it's salt. And it's depicted on 4 flights. Here's Gene. You can see there to the south. Roach Lake. So we can see the highway or freeway. It's over here to the left. And I guess that mountain to the right, I don't know for sure, is Mountain Clark Mountain, I guess. No, I don't think so. I think it's this stuff. More cloud. Clark Mountain is even beyond. Sorry, I can show you guys. I think that Clark Mountain is even beyond those ridges. see a road here, but I can see a road here right to us. I guess this is that road. Here to the right, you can see the traffic. So I guess that one is the highway here, highway 15, what was it? Yeah, 15. Yeah, that's going to the left. But we are going to the right. So let's just go that direction. Gene traffic, Skyhawk Pop Hotel Tango in Yoke is 5 miles southwest of the airport at 5,000, leaving the traffic pattern area. Gene. Landing lights off. See some clouds here. We are VFR, so we should remain clear of clouds. Now, I agree. In FSX and Prepared, Active Sky Next in combination with Rex gives much better cloud formations and much more precise and sophisticated weather systems. But one thing that I do like about X-Plane is the fact that these clouds are much more 3D-like. They are also much more CPU intensive, I think. But they are more 3D and volumetric, which is nice. Now, if we're going to keep on climbing like this, we're going to fly through that those clouds. Well, these are not really a thick layer, and we're not going to get a angry letter by ATC that we fly through clouds, these clouds. At least that's what I'm thinking. So we're just gonna fly through it. Also noticing that we're climbing very nicely, so we're not really forced to fly through that canyon there, and we can just stick to our initial heading of 220. And I think that Clark Mountain is over there. And again, it's always good to use PilotEdge visual navigation in combination with radio navigation. Double check your stuff. Engine looks good. There we go. Now guys, if you're a fan, if you're liking the stream, follow me, get an instant notification when I'm flying. You can see how I'm progressing through the PilotEdge V ratings and I ratings in Season 2. Also on YouTube, all my previous episodes, starting from basic, with pretty much no experience at all, to becoming an experienced flight simulator pilot, which I think is very nice. Also Twitter, uncertified pilot, daily updates on what I'm doing and making, interesting retweets of real-world aviation, flight simulator aviation. Okay, currently at 7,000. Getting through that cloud layer. Or is my window fogging up? Cabin air, it's open. Here to the right side, open. Or should I turn on the heater? Let's turn on the heater. I'm not convinced that this is clouds. Let's see if the windshield gets more clear. We're currently at 6 degrees and we've got vapor in the air. And it's now 5 degrees, so we should turn on our pitot heat. Thank you for following, Gaming Panda. Below 10 degrees Celsius with visible moisture in the air, you should turn on your pitot heat. Although formally or strictly only in freezing levels with moist in the air you got chances of freezing, but just to be on the safe side, Ah, you can see the windshield is better now. I guess it was something like icing or something. I don't know. I guess that is Clark. And you can see here there's a freeway. There's the Highway 15, which is going through the southeast side. And we are going here to the right. Also, you can see that we could easily overfly that mountain ridge behind us, while Clark Mountain, should be much more higher than we are. It is at 8,000 feet. We are currently at 8,000 feet. Well, it seems to be a little bit more higher up. Here looking outside. But I think that is Clark Mountain. Almost getting at our cruising altitude. I don't know what the climb's power setting is of the Skyhawk. I'm now currently at full power. Don't know if that's the right thing to do. I know for the Skylane we should have already reset a bit to 2300 or 2200. Manifold pressure, we don't have any manifold pressure reading here. Or indicator. Is there another mountain here that's much more higher? No. Just looking at ForeFlight here just to make sure. And there we are. Pushing on that nose, allowing the airspeed to increase. You can hear it also. Then I'm going to reduce the RPM, let's say to 2200. Then I'm going to lean. Let's look at the EGT there. Leaning, 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 leaning. Leaning, that's too much. Enriching. Okay, so there's the peak. Leaning a bit, no. A little bit lean, no. Okay, so there's the peak. Okay. And then trim. I know that, at least for the Skylane, when I was studying the Skylane, you shouldn't lean while in full power setting. At least when you're below 3,000 feet MSL. So I guess when we already were above 3,000, I could have already leaned and got more efficient power there. So I guess you guys are right. Okay, well, we are set here, 8,500. Leaned, transponder is set. Do we have a reading yet of Daggett? No, we don't. So we're far, far away. It's going to be a long flight, man. Here we go. Perhaps for that reason, I'm just going to put in some more RPM there, just to increase our cruising altitude. So that means we need to reset our trim. So pushing on the yoke, or at least we are 200 feet below our cruising altitude. So doesn't really make that much of a difference. You can see the wind is still a little bit gusty. See the airspeed indicator wobbling. Different winds coming into the pitot tube. Okay, well. Here we are. Okay, so always thinking ahead. We are currently quite comfy, and when you're feeling comfy in a flight, that's a signal that you're not really on your toes and prepared. So, looking at our flight again, I think we're currently here with Clark Mountain to the left of us. So our next step is to just go here to left around Clark Mountain, and then we're going to pick up our visual guideline, that Highway 15, and we should stay to the south side of it, because otherwise we're going to bust that silver North MOA, which is active from the ground up, I thought, from 200 feet AGL up to 9,000. We could also easily overfly it at this altitude, but then we need to go to 10,500 feet, which I'm not going to. It's much more easy to stay to the south side of that silver North MOA, I think. Don't you agree? And while we're doing that, chances are we're going to pick up that Daggett VOR 113.2, 113.2. Yeah, it's that's set. Oh man, I like flying. Have you guys already checked out the recent post by Frugal of the Dovetail Flight School? Let me know what you think. I watched it just before this flight. Branded as the new flight simulator. 64-bit based on FSX technology. Well, it looked like shit to me. Unfortunately, I thought, okay, these guys are now going to nail it. They're going to start with a new technology, new architecture. But they rather prioritized on allowing compatibility with all the third-party add-ons, and so they needed to rely on SimConnect and all the stuff that is already so old. It's 64-bit though, and it can now make use of more modern hardware, so that's an upgrade. But if you look at the technology itself, you just look at the graphics of Flight School, I am not that impressed. I expected something entirely different, but yeah. Oh well, it's going to be explained or prepared then. Or they're going to implement some upgrades between now and or between the release of Flight School. Is going to be released today or tomorrow. That Flight School edition, which is much more a condensed basic version of the bigger full version, flight simulator version of Dovetail, is going to be released in later this year. So, well, I'm hoping that they're going to take some time to further upgrade their technologies. Well, we're going to have to see. Okay, in front of me, I can see Highway 15 already, our guideline. Over here. We're nicely above the clouds. Which is good, enables us to ensure clear or safe separation from other aircraft. It's also why it's called VFR. We should be more interested and curious about what we see on the outside than relying on our instruments. Curiously enough, while I was growing up with Flight Sim, I was always more interested with the instruments. So actually I'm already quite experienced with flying on instruments. So much though that when I was flying in the real world, and I've only done a couple of lessons, every flight instructor critiqued me on not looking outside. So I was doing perfect turns and stuff and altitude, just flying on the instrument. I was just focused on the primary instruments. And the instructor said, well, you can focus on the instruments, but is it safe to make that turn? So you need to look outside, and can you reference your turns and straight on level flights just looking on the horizon and that kind of stuff. So also in Flight Sim the same rule counts, especially in PilotEdge. Well, here there is not a lot of traffic. I've only seen one airplane. I don't know if you guys have seen other. Don't haven't seen the military aircraft, and to be honest, I wasn't really aware of that, guys. I mentioned it before the departure, but during the flight now, I was too much concerned with chatting to you and staying on cruise altitude. We already passed this gray VR222 military airway when we were beamed at Clark Mountain. So luckily we weren't attacked or crashed into high-speed military traffic. Anyways, we've got our Highway 15 to the left of us. Now, one tip I got from you guys in one of the previous episodes was to keep that guideline, your visual guidelines, to the left of you, because we're sitting on the left seat and it's much more easy to look down from the left side rather than keeping it on the right. Well, that's a good rule, but in our case, we've got that airspace, right? That MOA to the right of us, or to the right of that, to the north of that highway here. So we need to stay to the left side of it. So that's why I'm crossing it right now. Also, we've got a GPS, so I can easily switch it to display the airspaces and airports, but I'm not going to because I'd like to develop those old school classic navigation skills first, which I think makes flying much more exciting and, well, also more difficult, challenging, intellectual. Also forces you to look outside and apply all these skills. And in the previous flight I did not. Well, it was a night flight. It was quite challenging, by the way, and I needed to use the GPS. It was kind of like not really an emergency, but we're gonna fly into some clouds, I see. Bit of an updraft, 200 feet below our cruising altitude. Do we have a reading of Daggett? No. Yeah! Wow. Like magic. There it is. Boom. Okay. So, let me see if I can use the DME and switch it to DME to the nav1. So, there's no reading, or we've got no reading at all. Nav2. What is this? 11.7. 11.7. I have no idea what that option is. And this is just turning it off completely. Uh-oh. We've got a vacuum. We haven't got a vacuum anymore. That's cool. We've got an error, guys. We've got a failure. We've got a vacuum failure. So that means that we are not going to reach Palm Springs, and we need to problem solve this stuff. Well, what happens if you got a vacuum failure? Well, it means you cannot fly IFR. That's what it means. And it means that some of the instruments are not working. Now, I'm not going to make a turn right now because that might reveal what instruments do not work. But it has to do with the gyro, I think. So I'm expecting that this one doesn't work, the artificial horizon, and also the heading indicator might not work, or the turn indicator. These are gyro driven. Are these gyro driven? I guess so. Let me see. No. All is working. Could be that the Airfoil Labs Cessna doesn't include those failures. Hey Keith, welcome. Yeah, but it's silly because I'm expecting that the that one of these primary instruments should not work, right? If I got a vacuum problem, but in this case they seem to work just fine. Does the gyro stop instantly? Yeah, that's a good one. So it might just deteriorate just over time. Yeah, and that's the killer, right? That's the big killer, that it slowly fails on you. Oh, I'm really curious now. So, we always got our compass here, just our magnetic compass. The same should be true of our artificial horizon. I think these are gyro drifting, so I'm expecting that this one would fail, this one would fail, and that one would fail. Also like to keep on altitude here. And at the meantime, let me complete my stuff here. So I don't know how I can... Daggett doesn't have a DME, I don't think so. I don't know how that works, but... Anyway, let's tune it in. Boop. Daggett. Yeah, that makes sense. But we're staying to the southeast of Highway 15, just to stay clear of that Silver North MOA. Perhaps we can spot that airport there, Baker. Perhaps we already passed it, I don't know how far we are. Can we see some terrain here, perhaps? That gives us a clue how far we've already progressed. We got a lake there, Soda Lake, which seems an obvious visual reference point. And I can also see one over there, and I can see one over there. Yeah, those are those lakes, Soda Lakes. So I guess we're flying around here. Okay. Okay. But the vacuum stuff. So I guess in the real world now, this wouldn't be a scenario where I would declare an emergency, I guess. In terms of an IFR flight, you would. So in my case, I would say go to Baker and land there. Although you could also say, well, then I'm at Baker. Is there any repair shop or anything there? Which might not be a very good thing to do. And I should rather just turn around and go to a more advanced, bigger airport and look at the airport facility directory to see if they have repair facilities there. I guess that would be the right scenario. Now let's see what happens if it takes some time for the gyro to... and also I'd like to initiate my climb, guys. 8,500. A little bit more power there. The turn coordinated gyro is electrically powered. No gyro there? But the gyro is electrically powered, right? In a 172, the AI, the airspeed indicator and heading indicator are vacuum driven. Artificial horizon, obviously, and heading indicator are vacuum driven. Okay. Okay, so only those two would fail on me. Well, they seem pretty... to work pretty fine right now. Yeah, so this is electrical, but I can mess around with this. I don't know if this is a smart thing to do, but the circuit breakers here in the Airfoil Skyhawk do work. Looks like they've done a custom system and it's not affected by X-plane failures. Sorry. Ah, damn. So how many minutes does it take, Keith, for the vacuum failure to seep into the cockpit? When are you noticing that that the instruments fail on you? Is that generally speaking? But that's a bummer, because then that means if it's a custom system, that the failure stuff that is in X-Plane that is so sophisticated to me in comparison to P3D doesn't work, or doesn't really help me at all. Within a few minutes you start seeing drifting within, okay. Chevy Rules, thank you for hosting. Within 2 or 3 minutes, yeah, so that's already long past, okay. Oh, but that's a bummer. Because if that's the case, I don't know, the Airfoil Labs doesn't have its own failure system, I think. Yeah, Ryan, that's what I mean. X-Plane does very nice failures. Okay. Well, I could just leave it on to showcase. All right, so we are currently Soda Lake, and then to the right of us, Baker Field. Let's see if we can spot it. Yeah, there's that other lake. Can I... Does TrackIR work with me so I can... No. I can see the highway over here, so we're still on the good side. I guess it's over here, Baker Field. Yeah, Keith, I know. I mean, but can you answer? I mean, in an IFR flight, the vacuum failure would be a big problem, right? And I should declare that to ATC, right? In case of a VFR flight, it depends, isn't it? Doesn't it? I mean, how serious isn't life-threatening if you're VFR? Yeah. Check. Hey, Nietzsche. Welcome on board, guys. It's getting cozy. It's full on emergency for IFR typically, yeah. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. In IMC, yeah, obviously in IMC. Man. But the most cool scenario would be that, I mean, in this case, the annunciator panel immediately shows, hey, there's an error here. I'm even surprised there isn't an audio sound like bleep, 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 and that you should turn off. I mean, this is serious stuff. But the most interesting scenario here is that when you don't have an annunciator panel and you've got that vacuum error going on, and you think you can rely on the primary instruments or on your artificial horizon and heading indicator, while they're actually giving erroneous information. I mean, that's messed up. So then you see the turn indicator showing you making a turn, but the heading indicator isn't turning. I mean, I can already picture the disorientation there. Without a flag or the indicator here, it can really, so yeah. Yeah, I can imagine. You die before you find out. Yeah. Interesting stuff. But this is a bummer. Why doesn't Airfoil Labs rely on the X-Plane failure system? Because I think that the I will check in the settings. That Airfoil Labs doesn't have its own failure menu thing. I mean, with A2A you can set like, hey, damage is on. Oh, these are just controllers. Well, maintenance. Yeah, perhaps it's in the next upgrade. Or We're in the next... no. Yeah, perhaps I should return to P3D. But I have to be honest, I like X-Plane, really. It's stable, got a great, incredible frame FPS increase. I love the light effects. I mean, let me just go to dark settings here. Let's just cheat a bit. Whoop. Well, with the clouds here, well, sunset, perhaps we should go to the other side. That's dawn. Let's go to sunset. Bloop. Sun, where are you? Sun. There's the sun. I mean, it can look really, really pretty now with the clouds and not a lot of highways. I mean, this is dark. I mean, if you go to FSX and prepare it, dark isn't dark. Also, like how the strobe light reflects here in the cockpit. Well, let me turn on the just briefly. I mean, look at this. I mean, I think this is really cool. This is something that P3D cannot do. Not that this is such a big thing, but I really think this is pretty. Let's turn off the lights. And I should fix that chat, guys. I'm using a different streaming software here, so I can only look at the chat through the stream. And I think I should set the stream chat there, so that your text messages stay on screen for a little bit longer, because I miss out on a lot of stuff that you guys are chatting. Let me see if my iPhone can help me. Still, I should keep an eye on that highway, because I'm a little bit... Yeah, there's the highway, there's that bend. And also my course. I'm a little bit off course there. It should be a little bit to the right. I can see a mountain over there. And I guess that that mountain in front of us should have a lake in front of it. And there's that stuff going on. You can see a lake over there to the right. Here's the highway. Should be sure that we're staying on the left side of it. Yeah, so I guess that is those two. Oh, didn't like to do that. Oh, no flaps. The wrong button. What does this button do? Go away. Yep. 8,500. Come on, Tim. I mean, a 100 feet difference is okay, but not much more. So those are the power lines. That is the highway or the freeway. So how are we getting through the clouds? Yeah, that's true. Well, I guess that as a VFR pilot, I should remain 1,000 feet above the clouds, at least in echo. And given that this cloud layer, I don't know if this is an overcast or broken or few, but I still have visual reference with the ground. So, and it's a thin layer. So I guess it won't hurt if I just fly through it. Now, I thought that there would be a lake in front of this little hill, or mountain. I should say mountain, but I cannot see it. There's a lake over there, there's just one. Oh no, there's a second. And there's one. Just verify. Yeah, I'm still continuing to descend. 8,500. Come on, Tim. Just straight and level flight. It's just a lack of focus. Just distracting myself. Not finishing up on task. Okay. Still a small climb there. Come on. Come on. Let's climb. Come on. Yeah, thanks. Allowed it to climb. Quick look. Too much of a climb, by the way. Lake, 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 lake. Yeah, it's that lake. I think that small one over there that I see there to the left. A long way to go. I love to fly. I mean, this is nice. This is a nice hobby, guys. It's really relaxing, and you can learn some if you get your mind to it. Set your mind to it. And to be honest, I would like to have some chocolate. Sorry. The virtues of Flight Simulator. Let me see if I have some chocolate. Now, a very popular kind of chocolate here in the Netherlands. Let me just check whether that, if I can still spot that highway. It's over there, yeah. Okay, and what's the... Yeah, that's about right. And do we have a... Yeah, we do have a DME right now. 16, yeah. Oh yeah, and also I would like to know how I can verify I've got the right VOR beacon here. And I should do that using Morse, I guess. So Daggett. Yeah, those are the beeps. But how do I enable that here in the airfoil? I guess pooling. Pooling for ident. And this is snap 2. Well, doesn't matter, set to the same thing. Mode, timer, or just this one? Yeah, that's the right one. Okay. Press F1. Yeah, thanks, Nietzsche. Thanks, Keith. Yeah, but I guess with A2A you needed to pull one of these and then also push on one of these buttons, but man, Keith, what are you doing? Okay, first thing that I need to do, turn on TrackIR, then put on a glide and look around. And I don't know for sure by heart where the nearest air strip is, just to make sure here, because we got some time here. What's the U? I don't know what the U is. So we don't have an airport here inside, so I guess that the highway would be an obvious one for us to land, or even near that, because if we would, someone could pick us up. I could have a better glide than 90 knots, so I can actually pull up. Now I should troubleshoot, I guess. So we've got a glide, I've got a plan. So I go down, sorry guys, and see what is going on. Can I troubleshoot? So let's see if I can do a restart. We've got volts going on. No volts. That seems about right because I don't have any power. Cannot start. Can I do a fuel pump trick? Fuel pump on. Did I fix it, or did Keith do some magic? And there we are. Just to make sure, look at the engine. Both on. Seems about right. I think. Yeah, and now did I ever still got the fuel pump on yet? Let me. Fuel pump off, and the engine stops. So apparently the fuel pump is necessary right now. Don't know if that's a real thing, but fuel pump is on. Well, this is serious. No matter whether you're an IFR flight or VFR flight, this is serious stuff. The engine is not. We cannot rely on the engine. So in either case, I would now plan for a diversion to another airport and not go all the way to Palm Springs, because my fuel pump might fail and then we are in big trouble. So I would, first part of that plan would be I would stick to the highway in case we do have a engine failure again. We can land near or on the highway. What is the nearest airport here? Well, that's Daggett here, or Barstow Daggett, but it's a long way from here. But I guess that airport has more. I don't know if I'm right here, but I think that when there's a cross arrow on that untowered airport, you got that. Well, that doesn't. Is it that star on top of it that it shows that it has more facilities and repair stuff? I don't know if that's the case. Yeah, because we've got Baker here, but that's a really untowered. That's also got a star. Can I have a quick look? Flight service. How can I look up whether a airfield has a facility, repair facility or something like that? Other services. Let me first just fix this, guys. I'm doing two things at the same time. First, full power. Mixture is full in. Engine is still looking good. Oil temperature is a bit low, but I have no idea. It is always low here in X-Plane. Let me see. Just a climb. Here's the climb. While we're climbing, I want to know how can I look at a chart, at a sectional chart, and find out whether the airport provides a repair facility or something like that, or fueling or something like that. I guess that's the star, but I don't know for sure, and I guess you guys have already mentioned that on oh, you're right, Keith, you're right. And we're above 3000, so I guess I can use the mixture. Yeah, there it goes. There goes the EGT. Yeah. Star is beacon. Dots around the edge indicate services. Dots around. Yeah, but that's the crosshair stuff, right? Dots around. Those rectangular things, right? Well, let me have a look. Details. flight service, blah, blah. Yes, the crosshairs. Check. View map. Also, I'm now noticing that I don't have a clue whether on what side of the highway I am. So making a turn to the left. Where are we? There's the power line. Oh, here's the highway. Yeah, so just in time. And there's a lake to the left. I'm doing all kinds of things at the same time. Come on. Here you can see Troy Lake. That one. And you can see a river here alongside the highway. I cannot see that one. But I guess here is that Troy Lake. And I'm flying perhaps on top of that Mojave River? Or is the X-plane scenery... Oh, X-plane scenery is actually quite nice, really, more precise, but maybe I need to go a little bit more further along. 8,500 is coming up. That's a little bit less, well, 30 is good. EGT is nicely high up, yeah. Let me trim. Pitch up, pitch up. Trim is really sensitive here. How much nautical miles? 3 nautical miles, and we're at Daggett. So, that means, yeah, that we are, in fact, at Daggett. Cook. So we need to make our turn to 172. Full throttle is no longer 100% power. Yeah. I get that. Okay, so 3 nautical miles, 2 nautical miles. We're practically just above Daggett, so we can make our turn to 172. Let's do that. Just make sure that there's no other traffic here. I guess not, but just to make sure. Come on, Tim. Nose up. $172, something like that. Getting near Palm Springs. Well, near. There's still a long way to go. Gonna be my first ATC contact here on the uncertified pilot stream. Palm Springs Tower, this is Skyhawk Papa Hotel Tango in your mic. Okay, again, I'm feeling too comfy. What are we going to do? Daggett, yeah. So we can actually fly the outbound radial just to make sure, rather than just shooting a plane heading. So that's a 172 outbound, so that means I can just set it to 172. I guess. I'm always getting confused by the OBS how I should set it at the bottom or at the top. 172. 172. And now I can just fly to the right, I guess. And catch that radial. So I'm expecting it to very slowly creep in on us like this. Still my heading indicator and magnetic compass are synced, but I don't think that is simulated then as well. Gyro drift and that stuff. And that's a bummer that the X-plane failures do not, or that the Airfoil Labs Cessna doesn't make use of the same X-plane failure system. That's worth an email. Nietzsche, you're flying outbound 172 radial. Yeah, that's the idea at least. So I set my nav1 from 172 and I'm expecting that this needle will creep in as I'm flying much more to the right here. But I don't know if that's the right or if I'm messing up. I think this is right. Still need to make sure that that we are clear from any airspaces and other stuff. We're gonna cross over here a railroad system and a highway, which I can already see in front of us here. We're also gonna cross over an airport, which I can also see. It's over there, I think. Well, I don't see runways, but let me see again. Up. It's much more to the right of us, and it's on this side of the road. Oh yeah, I can see it. Much more further down to the right. It's over there. Okay. Well, I'm flying to the south. And I don't see the needle creeping in yet, but just giving it another chance. That radius should be too... Yeah, so the Troy Lake should be on the left side of us. And currently, well, it is on the left, but not that far to the left, so I could still be right. Yeah, there goes the needle. Yeah, check. Yeah, so I did the right thing. Outbound. From reading, radial on top. Okay. Sorry, I saw you wondering about this in your last episode and wanted to see if you were reverse tracking and you're not. No, right. Thank you, Nietzsche. Thank you for thinking with me. But, okay, so I know where I am. I'm tracking the thing. What am I doing? So, I'm going to Soggy. That's the whole idea. And then inbound to Palm Springs VOR. And I'm doing that through Soggy because otherwise I fly along this military airway. A 3-digit one. And I thought, well, if I do that, chances are I might have military aircraft, high-speed stuff going at me or behind me, and I thought, well, it perhaps would be more safe to fly through Soggy, although the most obvious thing to do would be to just use flight following, which I'm going to in the next episodes, I promise. Okay, so what I could already do is set the nav2 to Palm Springs 115.5. No, there, 115.5. Switch. Boom. Now, can I also set the DME to nav1? Yeah, we already centered. Should be wary of that mountain top over there. By the way. Oh, that's towers. That's that one. That's this little thing. And the 172 radial brings us exactly over that top. So we've got a visual reference point here. We're on the right track, which makes sense. But yeah, let's stay a little bit left of that peak. B1s and F-18s all day long, yeah. Oh, Keith, I've got a request for you. Personal request. At least I'm hoping that you are at Flight SimCon 2 with PilotEdge. You guys are, right? His request, give me fuel pump back. No, I've got a better one. got a better request. But I'm still got my fuel pump on. But can I... Is it still... Where's my fuel pump? Here's my fuel pump. Yeah, it's working, thanks. Now I've got another request, Keith. What I'm planning to do is, well, I'm visiting Flight SimCon. I'm very much looking forward to shaking your hand. But also, I'd like to pass from my V ratings before I go to Flight SimCon. So V1 and V2, 3, which isn't really a big thing, but for me it is. And I have this uncertified pilot shirt that I wore in the previous episode. And what I would really like for you to do is sign my shirt along with the other developers of 808 Simulations and X-Plane. So I've got a shirt that is signed by all the developers. But especially for you, and I don't know if you're willing to do this, but it would be awesome. And I don't know how I should phrase this in English, but I know that if you pass for your pilot private license, then the certified flight instructor has a pair of scissors and cuts the back part, I don't know what part, or I don't know what the exact tradition is, but cuts a part of that shirt. And I would like you to do that for me, so I could frame my shirts in my cockpit room as a reminder that I visited Flight SimCon. Still need to get some yeah. Cool. Thank you, Keith. That will be awesome. Would be really, really awesome. And I guess you don't have any merchandise or stuff like caps or shirts. Also like to have a shirt of 808 Simulations or other stuff. I'm expecting that no one will bring some. I mean, it's expensive stuff, I know. Did I set already? I'm lost track. Palm Springs 115.5. Better go practicing for the V ratings then. Yeah, Kimmy, you're absolutely right. Oh, you bring some. Cool. Cool. Yeah, Kimo, so that's the whole idea. So I've been streaming for, well, not quite some time in comparison to the other streamers. If time allows, we could do the V1 in the lane carrier braking. Wow! That would be so cool. I mean, I'm already chatting with the Flight SimCon guys to arrange some transport for me to even get from Hartford to the museum. The museum is located on the north of the airport, and I don't have a driver's license. So I'm using and I'm going to visit New York with my girlfriend as part of a holiday. And so one day on the Saturday, I'm going to go to Flight SimCon to the museum. So I'm taking a 3-hour bus ride in the early morning to Hartford. Then from Hartford, a shuttle to the airport, and then from the airport there is no transport to the museum except for the shuttle service at the hotel. So I'm hoping that the organization will support me in just hopping on one of those shuttle service things to get me to the museum and back. But I guess that wouldn't be a problem. But man, I'm looking forward to meeting you guys. Awesome. But is there any way, you know, the guys who are using, hey, thank you for following, Morgie Bears, welcome aboard, to set the DME to the nav1? Is there a button, or is it just only linked up to the nav2? Ah, there's Palm Springs. 1.5. Yeah. It is X-Plane. I'm exploring X-Plane at the moment. It's stable, it's fast, I love the light effects, but I do miss 808 Simulations. It's gorgeous airplane. Really realistic. Also miss a bit Active Sky Next and stuff. Sealer, thank you for following. Very encouraging. Mode MHD. Also, you can always put your DME into frequency mode. Yeah, there's a frequency mode, but I don't get what that does. There's a frequency mode, and then how I do? Oh, I guess with this. And that's just the regular nav1 stuff. So if I put in just, well, 1, let me see, 1.5. Oh, 5. I should get a reading, I guess. It does not. I don't get this one yet. Oh well. Yeah, but we are flying now to. Yeah, I should be careful right now. Let me see. There's a lake to the left side of us. That is, I guess, this stuff. Melville Lake. Yeah, I think so. There's also one on the right side, as you can see there, on 1 o'clock. That might be this one. And that might be, to the left one will be that one. Yeah, so we're nearing Soggy. There's also a mountain over here, mountaintop, and I guess that is that stuff. So we need to stay to the left side of that, I think. Am I making sense or am I not? 172, that is outbound from Daggett. That's 133.2, 133.2. We're on the left side, so we're... No, I guess we're not... I should just stick to that radial a little bit longer until we catch this radial. That's actually the one that I'm most interested in. That's inbound 329. So that is, well, 329 is already set here to the nav2. nav2 115.5. Yeah, it is moving. Yeah, okay. So what we could do is fly direct to Palm Springs, but I'm worried about these restricted areas and this military airway here. So that's why I'm making this leg to Soggy. Oh, stay to the right there. Okay, and we got a reading here, 43 nautical miles to Palm Springs. Okay, I'm aware again. Come fly with me to New York. Looking forward to make that trip. And one day, as part of that holiday trip, I'm going to Flight SimCon. And guys, send me in some questions or stuff that you would like me to ask the developers, like Keith or A2A Simulations. I'm planning to make a vlog of my visit, so might be cool if you've got an interesting question for me to ask. Tweet me, PM me, do whatever, so I can represent us as a flight simulator community. And there's some traffic there. Finally, we're not alone in this world. Yeah, other thing that I'm noticing. It's nice that I've got the Palm Springs area of the Palm Springs VOR here, a reading, but I'd like to catch a particular radial. Oh, no, I already set that one, sorry. Yeah, so that's the 1329er, and I already set that one, so that means that I can already catch it. Because I know if I catch that radial, we are already on this last leg, right? So I was not giving it my full attention. No, it isn't an aircraft, it's an airport. And do we know what airport it is? It's to the left, yeah, it's to the right. Well, is that Bear City? No. What airport is that? Or is it that private airport, Valley Vista? Two runways, it seems. So it's not Bear City. Big Bear City. Whoop. Two runways? Two runways. I don't get it. What is at airport, guys? Boom, 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 boom. Well, I'm catching on that radial to Palm Springs. 37 nautical miles. Goes slow. Life goes slow on the Cessna. But honestly, I like it. Still good on fuel. Let's see if we can get a little bit more rich of peak. No, we can't. Economical. One airport with multiple runways or multiple airports in close proximity. No, it was one airport. Was it? No, that's not. Those are not two airports. This crossing runway like that, and a runway like that. And I don't see any other. But you're right. I was also expecting that it could be this stuff. These private. But then we should overfly. We're already on that radial. It's not Big Bear. It's only had one radial, and we should see a lake. And I know it's more north up, much more farther away over there. We're currently on that radial. Inbound to Palm Springs, so it should be on the right side of us. I should also just fly that 159-ish. It should be on the right side of us. One airport with two. I don't see it. Bum 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 bum. And that worries me a bit, to be honest. Let's see if we can pick up another visual reference point. Perhaps our VOR. Keith messed up our navigational instruments too. So how can we spot another visual reference point to make sure that we are on the right track? We've got a lake here to the right. We got a lake another lake there. That would tell me something like we are over here. Above Kelly Private Airport's Soggy Lake. It's a big lake here to the right, a long one. There are no lakes over here, so we are probably... I can see a lake there in front of a very, well, a little farther away. I think we are around here. Another way that we can, yeah, I know I can check the GPS, but that's boring. I'm not going to use the GPS. 3 nautical miles. So what we can also do is say, okay, if we do rely on the nav2, and we are on the radial inbound to Palm Springs, 33 nautical miles, we can also just use 33 nautical miles, right? 33, something like that. So we are currently there, yeah. So that means that below us we should see those private, I don't know if X-Plane incorporates those, but center. We also have a lake stuff to the left. Yeah, I think we're over there. Oh, TrackIR. I guess we're just flying over there. I think we're alright. This looks Big Bear City like, that mountain ridge. Man, this is fun. My first ATC contact, guys. What am I going to say? So, Palm Springs. Well, it looks like an unusual airport. There's all of this airspace over here, but actually you can ignore all of it except for the Delta ring here. It's a Delta airport, although at PilotEdge a lot of the time the controllers treat it as a Charlie, but it depends on how we contact, I guess. So I'm just going to treat it as a Delta airport, and I'm going to sign in at call in on tower, like you would at any Delta airfield, and that is at 119.7. Let me clear this stuff. Oh, my air server doesn't refresh. Air server, or give him vertigo. Guys, just leave me alone. Leave me. This is just a nice. I did my checks. I did a perfect emergency procedure as a non-real world flight pilot. I passed the failure test. My iPad isn't refreshing. And I'm still connected to my Wi-Fi here with my iPad. Turn mirror off. Turn mirror on. Let me switch. No, my air server is gone. Let me see, guys, if I can just... Oh, it is on. Ah, great. Great. Let me center. Oh. Boom, I'm not on that radial. I'm breaking the big guns.
Check your nav2 radial.
Oh, Keith, what a technology! Incredible. I got a voice from the heavens saying, check your nav2 radial. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Should go to the right here. And that's important also because now we're far away from that stuff. What? Okay, so once you're hooked up to PilotEdge, you're in the hands of the CEO who can mess around with you. I guess that is just.
I mean, check the actual OBS. It's not set to the correct radial.
It's not set.
386.
It's not set to the correct. Let me see. Nav2. Let's go from the basics again. What I like to do is fly inbound to Palm Springs. That's what I like to do. I like to go through the radial here. 329 is outbound. So we're at nav2, 115.5, right? Yeah, 115.5. So I set 329er at the bottom. So then I'm flying inbound to... This is synced. What am I doing wrong? Keith from the heavens, let me know what I'm doing wrong here. Or should I, did you mention the nav 1?
Not 329 at the bottom, that's 339 at the bottom.
Oh, damn it. Damn it. Thank you, Keith God. That would be a nice feature in the real world, by the way. I mean, these kinds of mistakes are sloppy.
I'm going to go back to heaven now. A good plan.
Yeah, doing worldly stuff. Oh, this is so cool. Let me see. Am I getting this? Yeah. I'm much more to the left than I... Yeah, okay. That was my favorite ever. Yeah, I'm considering cutting that piece of my stream as an uploaded YouTube movie and give it a separate title. Yeah, but I do need to focus. I'm getting too playful here. So I was not on the radial. I'm flying to the right now to catch it. I mean, there's a 10-degree difference, and I'm really off. So I'm just sticking to this bar. There's terrain. $8,500 is still good. Yeah, what's the DME saying? 22. We've got lots of time, We should check in on ATIS. I don't know if we can already get it, by the way, but we can try. So I know what the weather information is like, and I should use that when I check in. Yeah. Yeah. Boom. Yeah, our air server is still working. Let me see. ATIS 118.25. 118.25. Really should take a close look at the terrain here and the radial. I'm doing this right. Right? Yeah. To the right. I should pick that one up. Yeah. Come to 118.25. 118.25. 118.25. Set active. Come to just
Palm Springs International Information, Quebec. 0 Zulu weather. Sky conditions 1900 scattered, 5600 overcast, visibility 10. Temperature 17, dew point 6. Wind to 00 at 10, gust 15, altimeter 2993. Arriving and departing runways 13 right, 13 left. Advise on initial contact. You have Quebec.
Oh, wait a minute. I mean, that sounded like 600 feet overcast.
Palm Springs International Information, Quebec. 0 Zulu weather.
Yeah.
Sky conditions 1900
Damn.
scattered, 5600
I want
overcast.
real world weather.
Visibility 10.
Oppa.
Temperature 17, dew point 6. Wind to 00 at 10.
I didn't set it to real world weather.
Altimeter 2993. Arriving and departing runways 13 right.
And that's because I
13
was
left.
making
Advise on
screenshots
initial.
yesterday, and I need to see some clouds. I was already thinking, how could I have missed those ceilings as part of our flight planning? Traffic. There's the Palm Springs Classic airport. You can see. Oh, there's the airport. There's the mountain. We are 19. Yeah, we've got Quebec, right? That's what we heard. Okay. I haven't got a chance to get any chocolate, so I'm going to do that right now because I earned it. Away, away. Okay. Man, I was really off on that radio. Traffic over there. Sorry for the eating, guys. For Started descent. There's Palm Springs. Tower, I'm already setting to the nav 1. That's 119.7. Stand by. Now we're tuned in. Guys, we're going to make contact for the first time with ATC. And I'm eating chocolate and making mistakes. There's military air traffic in front of us. That's this stuff. This airway, VR1257. Hear that gray line? So slowly going down. Man, I haven't been using real world weather. Okay, that's that. We are north of the airport. 8,500. We've got Quebec. Inbound full stop, and we are going to park. I would like to park at the. No, this is the wrong airport. Palm Springs. Yeah, I would like to park over there. So that's the. Whoa. That's the east ramp. East ramp. Okay. We can already set the ground frequency in on the standby. That's 121.9. Right corner, right top corner. 121.9. 121.9 is set. We don't get a squawk, or perhaps we do get a squawk, I don't care. Still.
River 515 Bravo Mike, set to maintain 4,000.
Oh, this is getting exciting.
Southwest 3782, sorry for the delay.
My favorite air traffic controller, except for Keith, obviously.
Change to my frequency 133.55.
Let me see. Alright. Putting my landing lights on already to make myself a little bit more visible. Mixture. Mic already set. We're still much high up. Now, what am I expecting? Again, military aircraft here in front of me. So even though I'm at 8,000 in AGL terms, I'm not that high. I guess, well, 2,500 or so, 3,000.
Southwest 3782, Lisa Roger.
Okay, so we got the weather information. That's Quebec, and I'm expecting a. This is all right traffic, so I am expecting a right downwind, I guess, entry for 3-1 right. It could also be a straight in 4-1-3 right. But these are right-hand traffic patterns. Traffic pattern altitude is at KPSP. 14? Yeah, 1400. So 1500. Okay. So we need to get that descent going. Now flying across that military airway.
San Francisco Tower, hello, copy 74 Heavy, Charlie short of 1 left.
Alright.
Number 73 Yankee Zulu, SoCal approach. I don't have a flight plan for you. You might want to try resubmitting. Captain 74 Heavy, San Francisco Tower cross runway.
Now let's do a call.
1 left, 1 right, and let me know when you're ready to go. Short 28 right.
Plus 1 left on my Wilco, copy 74
A lot of
Heavy.
turbulence here, by the way.
Number 4 Tango Sierra, no traffic observed between
be
you
tough, guys.
and the Oceanside Airport at this time. Report cancellation of IFR in the air on the ground within 5 minutes after landing, or missed approach on this frequency. Change to the advisory frequency is approved.
Do we
For
get
515 Bravo, Mike, Santa Barbara Airport, 12 o'clock, 15 miles. Report when you have in sight. King Air 515 Bravo, Mike, wonderful, thanks. Cleared visual approach, runway 25.
Palm Springs Tower, Skyhawk Pop Hotel Tango, and your mic is 7 miles north of the airport at 7,000 with information Quebec. Inbound for full stop landing for the east ramp.
Papa Hotel Tango, India, Mike, Palm Springs Tower. Good afternoon. Squawk 7457.
Squawk 7457, Papa Hotel Tango, your mic. Okay, 7, let me go, 7, 4, 5, oh, 5, 7, okay. Let me know. So this is more like a Charlie kind of procedure, if I'm right. I mean, usually at a Delta airport, Delta Airspace Airport, you wouldn't get a...
Alright, November 73 Yankee Zulu. All I'm seeing on your
squawk
routing
code.
is Victor 458.
So that makes the
Planning on
Palm Springs
terminating-
Airport a
you know
bit
what, never mind,
unusual.
stand by. I'll have your clearance for you, stand by shortly. And I don't have an equipment suffix for you either.
I should really get the descent going, by the way. Get to 1400.
Papa Hotel Tango, Mike, thank you. Radar contact 6 miles north of the Palm Springs VOR. And a right downwind runway 31 right, report midfield.
Enter right downwind 31 right and we'll report midfield. Papa Hotel Tango, Mike, thanks. Ha! Hoo-ha! First ATC contact, guys. It's an optional Class C. Yeah, I know. Also, as part of the workshops, videos by PilotEdge, by Keith, I guess the tier RSA is also mentioned. But still, it's a little bit confusing, at least to me. And doesn't really matter as much as if you're practice with Delta and Charlie airfields, then well, you just follow along. But if you're new to PilotEdge and like to start with Delta airspaces, I guess you just should pick another Delta airfield like Ramona or whatever. Man, what a turbulence! Again, listening to that ATIS to have an idea.
For 73 Yankee Zulu, I
Palm
see
Springs
refiled
International
as slant
Information
alpha.
Quebec.
Clearance is available.
000 Zulu weather.
Of the
Sky
winds.
clear. Visibility more than 10. Temperature 28.
Station 73 Yankee Zulu is cleared to the Imperial
Wind shear
Airport via
alert.
Santa Catalina VOR.
Wind
Victor
310 at
458
11 gust to
Imperial
4,
VOR.
altimeter
Then direct.
2981.
Okay.
Maintain
Arriving and
4,000,
departing
expect
from-
9,000 5 minutes after departure.
Wind shear. Okay.
Departure frequency is 127.
Wind shear. I have no idea what I should do in
4177 and hold
wind
for
shear
release.
conditions.
Kicker 515 Bravo Mike, contact Santa Barbara Tower. Have a great day.
Man, what a turbulence. Okay, 3, 1. Oh, I'm descending like a...
Santa Barbara Tower, November
Oh,
515,
that's too
Bravo Mike,
far.
inbound runway 25.
3, 1 right. Okay, I need to focus here, guys. Man.
Kicker 515 Bravo Mike, Santa Barbara Tower, runway 25,
Traffic
clear to
over
land
there.
220 at 7.
Clear to land, 25, 5 Bravo Mike.
For 73 Yankee Zulu, read back is correct. Again, hold for release. And advise short of the runway number 1 for departure on this
Man, looking
frequency.
forward to doing my I ratings. and all the IFR stuff. But VFR first. A lot to learn, a lot to do. And we're gonna do our V1 rating here at Palm Springs, guys. That's the airport that I started with here on Flight Sim. Well, I started my episodes, my series on
Bakersfield ground, good day, November 217, Sierra Type Cessna Skyhawk information, Fox.
But my first PilotEdge
following to Santa Maria
connection I made while being on Palm Springs, so I don't. It feels kind of like my home field.
Number 217 Sierra. I'm sorry, I missed your request. Try it again, please.
No
Man,
problem,
what a
November
turbulence.
217 Sierra Type Cessna Skyhawk with information Foxtrot request flight following to Santa Maria at 4,500.
Skyhawk 217 Sierra Bakersfield ground, roger, thanks.
Yeah, I should have started my
departure
descent much earlier.
frequency 118.8 squawk 3535.
Still, I can extend my downwind perhaps for a bit.
Okay, departure frequency 118.8, squawk 3535 from November 217.
Make sure full in.
Number 217 Sierra reback is correct. Runway 30, right? Taxi via Alpha and Bravo.
Okay, 45 degree.
Alpha Bravo 30 right, November 217.
No other traffic as far as I can see here in the traffic pattern.
San Francisco Tower, Cafe 74 Heavy, short of 2.
There's the east ramp.
Departure.
Cathay 74 Heavy, roger. Runway 28 right,
And I
cleared
can
for
already
takeoff.
see that we're getting pushed
And
by the wind.
26014, gust 21.
Man, I'm hoping that
Check
I can
right to
land
take
this
off,
thing
Cafe
with this
74 Heavy.
turbulence. Okay, let's start our turn already.
Papa Hotel Tango on your mic, runway 31 right, clear to land.
Clear land 3-1 right, Papa tilting your mic. At least. I hope.
Southwest 3782, set and maintain flight level 240.
I mean, I planned to report that I was midfield while I was now on the downwind leg. Guys, can you pray for me, with all 31 of you, that I'm gonna make this landing? Because I'm feeling a bit like, well, I don't know, popcorn or something that isn't good. Like a washing machine. And I kind of regret that I put on real world weather conditions. Thank you guys, pray for me, pray. Now, as part of wind shear and stuff, we're getting to our traffic pattern altitude. I'm only going to set 1 notch of flaps, perhaps 2, but not full flaps. With that
Number
much
515 Bravo Mike, where are you parking?
of wind,
Over to the
that isn't a good thing.
Which one?
Here we
North
go.
side.
Oh, keep
Number
on
5
that
Bravo Mike,
speed.
turn right on Charlie, taxi straight into the ramp, stay on this frequency.
Man, this is going to be the toughest landing ever. Oh man.
Over to Charlie. Stay on the ramp. Stay on the frequency. 5 Bravo Mike.
Okay, here we go. No need to report.
Southwest
on base.
3782, contact LA Center 126.35.
I am going to put 1 notch of flaps. Trim. 4 wides. But I'd like to be a little bit more high up rather than too low. Oh man, I'm so glad when we're on the ground. Keep in that speed. Look at those gusts, guys. From 85
Southwest 3782, Los Angeles Center,
70.
roger. The Ontario altimeter 2990 across Donna, maintain 13,000.
So that should be part of the flight planning, I guess. Seeing that this is not really student-like weather. Yeah, so the whole idea is that I'm trying to get some speed in here, because if it is gusting this much and I'm at 65 knots, then I could get into stalls, out of stalls. And I have all the runway to use. There's no rule that I should land.
Tower 5 Bravo
Spot.
Mike holding short runway 15 right,
Guys, pray for me.
requesting clearance.
I need your the force. I need
Number
the
5 Bravo
force.
Mike, yeah, again, there's 2 FBOs there on the north side. I just assumed you wanted the closer one. Cross runways 15 left and 15 right, and continue into the northeast ramp.
Come on.
Northeast ramp, I'm sorry for the confusion
Come
there.
on.
Crossing 15 right, 15 left for the northeast
Come
ramp,
on.
5 Bravo Mike.
Come on. Okay. Please let there be no ground wind. Thank you. Slow. Nose up. Nose up. Not pretty, but we survived. Flaps up. And crosswind correction, I guess to the left, because the wind is coming from the left to the right. We landed. Guys, your praise worked. Thank you. Foxtrot.
Papa Hotel Tango, you might turn right when able, taxi back to the ramp, echo, and monitor ground.
Via echo to the ramp and we'll monitor ground. Papa Hotel Tango, Mike, thanks. Monitor ground. There we go. Landing lights off. Strobe lights off. Transponder set to on. Let's open the window because we are cool.
Clearance void if not off by 21.
Literally
40 Zulu, time now 2131.
Yeah.
If not off by 2140, advise this frequency with your intentions. Frequency changes are approved.
Guys, we did it! First radio contact. Super hard landing. Weird failures by a god named Keith. And we survived. The uncertified pilot survived. And this is just the beginning of our adventures here on X-Plane and PilotEdge. It's going to be awesome. So here we're going to do our V1 rating when the weather is much more better than today. And then we're going to move down to John Wayne for our V2 and V3 ratings, but we need to do some studying there, and I also like to do...
Runway 31 right, cleared for takeoff, left crosswind departure approved.
So, I need to practice with flight following too. That's also new to me. So I guess when we're going to leave Palm Springs and we head over to John Wayne, we're going to make use of flight following. Thank you for following. Dave, New York Dave. So that's flight following to John Wayne, and then yeah, the V2 and V3 ratings. So before I'm visiting Flight Sim Con, I would like to pass for those. So, a lot of work that needs to be done here. Thank you, Jake. Thank you for following. It's really encouraging. Being as vulnerable as I feel right now, showing off, or no, not really showing off, but giving you a peek in on my flight troubles here. Man, this is challenging, really. Let alone contacting PilotEdge and, well, but I think I did right. Alright, well, let's park over here to the left. There we are. Something like this, I don't know. Thank you, Mr. Approach. Nice, nice tag. Okay, first off, we are offline in ATC terms. Transponder is off. Then the avionics are off. Beacon remains on. Mixture cut off. We got a volt reading, obviously. Then magnetos off. Battery generator off. Virtual headphones off. Control wheel lock on. Thank you for following Simply Bacon. Off. We can put the fuel selector to the right or left to prevent crossfeeding. Wow, Keith! Donated again, man, thank you so much. Wow, that's the second time. Man, I'm gonna hug you. It's gonna get intimate, Keith, at Flight SimCon. My gosh, few weeks. Awesome, wow. I cannot sleep tonight. Alright, so we're here. TrackIR disabled. Whoa. That's wind, and that's because I just removed my parking brake. Whoop, parking brake set. Okay, are the winds that strong that it can push my Skyhawk? I guess so. Man, so I should nail my Skyhawk to the ground. Let's do that. Let me see. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Keith. Man, it's just the beginning. That's weird. Let me see. TrackIR off. Are we done with the cockpit? So crossfeed off, 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 off. Everything is off. Transponder is off. These windows are closed. That window is closed. Door open. Let's get outside. Should have a right view here to get moving. Yeah, here we are. We are here. Out of the airplane. We use this airplane to fly all the way from the Las Vegas area to Palm Springs. Now, obviously, as part of the role-playing, we're gonna get our briefcase. We need to get home. Get a shower. Refreshing for another day of flying. Baggage. Whoop. Away. There we are. We should close the door. We can put on the pitot tube cover. Bang. Let's put the wheel chocks on. Well, I don't know. I don't think that this particular ramp here at Palm Springs offers tie-down spots. At Prepared, at Orbix, the scenery, you have these marks on the ground that show the tie-down spots, but I don't think they are here in the real world at Palm Springs, but we're just going to pretend that they are, I guess. I don't know if X-Plane also shows those tie-down spots. Let me see. Let's just use them, because the winds are that strong. I'm just going to do that. Bloop. Bum. No chocks there at the front. Bloop. There. Let's do one over here. I mean, I like the fact that you can just do this physical walk around. I think can relocate you need it. Oh yeah, that's true. I read about that in the AOPA flight training magazine. That is part of, well, I guess, how do you call that? Ethics, or part of, well, doing things, operations on a ramp. Is there also a tie down here? Yeah, there is. I mean, the guys at the FBO can obviously just remove the tie downs and the wheel chocks, but they cannot go in because we've got the keys to the airplane. So a good thing to do, as Keith mentioned, is to is remove the parking brake so we can lock the Skyhawk, and then the FBO could, hello? Yeah, thanks. Can move the Skyhawk if necessary, which makes sense. Although the initial here, initially when I got out of the Skyhawk without my parking brakes, I guess now my Skyhawk would have been blown away by the wind. So yeah, that's why. But this should be proper procedure. Nietzsche, yeah, that's exactly what it is. So you can, yeah, they can move it, but I guess it's more the exception. I guess I don't think that that's something that they do regularly, but in case it is needed, yeah, they can just move your airplane. Okay, guys, man, I feel like popcorn. Clear. First contact with ATC went great. I'm proud. And a donation. Keith, thank you so much, man. Oh, really looking forward to meeting you. Not because only of the donation. I already had some, or I had quite some excitement to meet you and the team. Are the other guys coming as well? The other controllers. And Cat's Trader and all the other guys. Are they? I have no idea what the other. Frugal is coming. I don't know what the other streamers are. Is John Fly coming? I don't know. Should ask them on stream. Ah, cool, future airliner pilot. And I totally agree still that you should go on PilotEdge. Peter will be there. Cat's Trader is coming. Cool. Jeff is coming. Okay, awesome. Josh Gibbs, Max Weldon. I don't know who that is. Should look that one up. Ah, awesome. gonna be awesome. Yeah, I cannot stay over the night or have dinner with you guys. I need to go back to New York to meet up with my girlfriend in Manhattan. So I can only stay to 5. But well, it's gonna be awesome anyway. Cool, guys. Well, for those who are watching, who are considering coming to Flight SimCon, it's gonna be the biggest, and it's grow eventually to become the biggest flight simulator convention, at least in the States. In Europe you've got some, also here in the Netherlands, but it's no of the developers. So 808 doesn't come, PilotEdge obviously doesn't, which would be cool, but it's based in the States. It's going to be the biggest flight simulator convention, and you're all invited to come. Obviously, I will be there. PilotEdge will be there. Keith and the guys. 808 Simulation will be there. Orbix will be there. X-Plane will be there. Aerosoft will be there. Just have a look at Flight SimCon 2016 website, and come over and we can join. We can join up. We can meet and celebrate this this wonderful wonderful hobby. Guys, thank you so much for joining me here on this complex, challenging, never to forget flight. I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to my next flight, which is going to be the V1 rating, the traffic pattern here at Palm Springs. Hopefully the weather will improve in the coming days, so hoping you will jump in. If you're really interested in my channel, follow me on Twitch so you get an instant notification when I'm live, so you can watch me, or on YouTube you can follow me on my channel. All my streams are uploaded there, exported to YouTube, so you get that narrative of my of how I'm progressing through my flight training. Oh, look at this Skyhawk, look how it is bumping around by the wind. Thank you, Keith. Thank you, man. Thank you, future airliner pilot. Thank you for following. So cool. So hopefully see you next time. Next episode 28 is going to be, I guess, in a couple of days here on the Uncertified Pilot stream. Guys, blue skies and happy flying. Bye.
I'm passing 3,500, 715. 715, 134, 125.